Alright, y'all. I gotta talk about Loki Season 2, Episode 4, because what the I literally had no words to what happened at the end of this episode, but it took me a minute. I think I got it down now. And obviously, if you have not seen Loki Season 2, Episode 4, or Loki Season 2 in general yet, what's wrong with you? So the episode starts out from the cliffhanger we had from the last episode where Miss Minutes is telling Ravonna, like, hey, I have secrets on He Who Remains, and I will let you know what exactly that secret is, but it's gonna piss you the fuck off. Now, if you're a Marvel comic fan, this was pretty obvious. I mean, obviously, Ravonna has been, like, rocking with Kang the Conqueror for a while, so, you know, of course, she ruled with He Who Remains, but, you know, we found out that he erased all their minds after he got what he needed. I think I can quote my boy by saying, I don't do partners. But yeah, safe to say, this just made Miss Minutes and as well as Ravonna like the big bad of this season. Then we get Victor Timely, a variant of He Who Remains that actually goes into the TVA for the first time and discovers everything that He Who Remains laid in place for him. Now, my previous theory was that Victor Timely becomes He Who Remains. But after what happened at the end of this episode, obviously, I don't know what the hell is going to happen, but I do have some theories. Then after a while of convincing, they finally get Victor Timely to talk to OB about fixing the time loom and like fixing the multiverse. This interaction between Victor Timely and OB is crazy as hell. Like, mind fucked. So when Victor Timely was a kid, he got a book sent to him from the TVA, aka Ravonna Renslayer and Miss Minutes, and He Who Remains technically, that made him grow up and aspire to create essentially the TVA. And OB, on the other hand, literally wrote the manual, literally wrote the Bible in the TVA that was handed down to Victor Timely when he was a kid to make him aspire to be who he is. And OB literally learned everything he knows that he jotted down into the book that was handed down to Victor Timely from Victor Timely at a younger age at some point in the timeline. But to put it in simpler terms, like what OB said, it's literally a snake eating its own tail. Like, without Victor Timely, without OB, there could be no TVA. And they end up honoring each other's work and signing each other's books, which was pretty cool. It's just cool to see OB getting all this attention for the first time in, like, what, eons? Then we got the scene with B-15 trying to convince Docs to, like, you know, join the side of the good and try to make sure the branches are, like, taken care of and branched out and not pruned like she usually does. I can see the strategy there. Like, she wanted to get more soldiers on board. And on top of that, like, obviously they have protected the TVA for eons. Like, you want to give them a fair shake, you know? But goddamn, bro, the scene with Renslayer and Miss Minutes cubing everybody, giving them that ultimatum, you can have a life on the timeline. If not, you're gonna die. And look at Miss Minutes over here looking menacing as they're just getting cubed together. That was just like the most like fucked up thing. Like, they didn't even have to show it, but it was just like you could just tell by the audio. Like, it was just the most messed up like scene we probably had in the MCU in general. Like, they are evil, okay? Then we have this scene with Victor Timely getting very interested in some hot cocoa machine. I know there was a good amount of people out there that didn't really like this scene, but I really loved it, to be honest, because, like, even though there's so many, like, crazy stuff happening in the TVA, for me, it's just, I love the fact that, like, he's so interested in, like, the smaller things, like, the convenience of the fact that there's a hot cocoa machine, you know? Also, too, in the back of my head, there was kind of this suspense of, like, maybe Victor Timely was up to something, maybe he knew about something that every other TVA agent did not know about. But no, they suspended our disbelief and he literally just was interested in a hot cocoa machine. But anywho, he ends up getting taken by Ravonna, Miss Minutes, and Bradley, the rest of Docs' crew. Victor Timely ends up distracting them as it knocks Miss Minutes out of place and as well gives Loki and Sylvie their magic abilities in the TVA, which ultimately gets Ravonna pruned to the void where all the other alternative Lokis are, which is also where Goliath, the smoke monster, is that just like deletes everybody in the void. So it's going to be interesting to see what Ravonna does with that. And then we get back to them trying to fix the time loom, and OB has already made it known that the radiation is way worse than when they started to do it in the first episode, okay? So It's very risky going out there. So Loki ends up volunteering because he knows it's a risky mission, but Victor Timely, mind you, this is like right after Miss Minutes literally told this man he will not be him. He will not be he who remains, okay? Literally planted doubt in this man's mind. Victor Timely decides to be brave for the first time in his life, not thinking of himself, literally decides to go out there and fix the time loom himself to prove Miss Minutes wrong. Or he could have possibly knew something the others didn't know. I'm not sure yet. But when he goes out there, he gets eviscerated, spaghettified. You can see his bones, his whole, all of his skin, everything is just like literally just getting destroyed. This was just like a huge mind fuck. It's just like, what? Like, what? I thought this man was supposed to be he who remains. What happened? But as I said, I got a theory for that. Just wait like 1 second. But yeah, with Victor Timely utterly eviscerated, the time loom and as well as time itself is imploding on itself to the point where it's just destroying everything. Look at Loki's face, bro. That is the face of I'm fucked, okay? Like this is, I don't know what the hell is going to happen next episode, but everything TVA is just going to be gone, okay? I'm just super excited to see what happens next, but here's my theory. I believe that Victor Timely was not the he who remains that we thought he was. I believe that he was being used by the actual true he who remains. There is still a person orchestrating this whole situation. Like, I just want you to think how fucked up this is. This man sent Ravonna as well as Miss Minutes on a mission to make sure that he remains King to Conquer as well as he who remains throughout the timeline, but also sent them on a purposeful suicide mission knowing that they're going to be either erased through time or go through some kind of turmoil to where they're just utterly destroyed and reset, okay? He sent them on a suicide mission, okay? And not just Ravonna and Miss Minutes. He also sent his own variant on a death mission, okay? To make sure that the timeline is literally reset. He purposefully chose this one because he knew this one in particular will be willing to do what he just did. Also, he knew that this variant would probably be the most compatible for OB, which we still don't even know what OB is or what he's doing and how does he know this knowledge and when did he get the book? I have so many questions still. And with the explosion of the time loom as well as the time stream, obviously I just think that it's going to reset everything. Like, it's just going to make sure that all the multiverses is just like scattered throughout. Like, there is no more time loom, so there is nothing to make sure that the main time stream stays the main time stream. All the multiverses are now going to be at its natural state from the beginning. It's like literally, it's pretty much like the Big Bang of the MCU. This is the Big Bang. And to solidify this, I don't know if you remember from Ant-Man Quantumanium, literally Kang the Conqueror said, I have seen the end of time. I have seen it. So he knows that at the end of time, it literally just goes the fuck out. It explodes. He knows what's going to happen, okay? And also, I just want to call this out. I love how fitting and convenient it is that he chose 2 Lokis to make sure that they survive at the end of time. Like if anybody's going to survive the end of time, it's going to be a Loki, right? Because like when Lokis get pruned and sent to the void, they're the only people still alive in the void because Lokis always know how to survive. Like, it's crazy. Like he is orchestrating here. He knows what he's doing. Also, that theory I had that Loki pruned himself in the future actually came to fruition. Like, Loki pruned himself, okay? I was right about that theory, all right? And again, it's literally like a literal, like, snake eating its own tail. Like, that's literally what it is. But anyways, what do you guys think of this episode, man? What do you guys think of the series so far? There's 2 more episodes. I just do not know what's going to happen next. As I said, that's just a theory that I think the time is just going to reset. I mean, this poster in itself, like, literally makes sense because it's a time loop. We're looping back in time, okay? So that's my theory on it. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. I cannot wait for this next episode.